Welcome back to the incredibly imaginative world of Atomfall, a place that is crammed full of hidden references to British pop culture from the past. In my last video, I explained that I hadn't had time to fully explore all of Atomfall's open world areas, but now that I have, I am back with a list of 11 more brilliantly British Easter eggs for you to enjoy. So join me, Eurogamer's Ian Higton, as I kick this video off by having a wander around Atomfall Woods.
Do you require the operator?
Making Easter egg videos can be a hard job, but it's definitely no Italian job because, as anyone who has seen that movie will know, that job ended pretty badly for everyone involved. However, while the heisters in Michael Caine's classic crime caper from 1969 only had to worry about a spot of counterbalancing, their video game counterparts found in Atomfall seem to have had it even worse. If you head on over to the very northern tip of the main road that runs through the middle of Atomfall Woods, you will find the Italian Job's famous red, white and blue minis in a state of disrepair, just in front of a big old hole in the road. Worse than that, however, is that you can also see the remains of 6 members of the crew sitting in their cars, all still wearing their distinctive headgear from the film. Although, considering the skeletal state that they're in here, they probably won't be able to call themselves the Self-Preservation Society anymore. Head south on that same stretch of road and head towards these coordinates to find the next Easter egg in Atomfall Woods, but be warned, it may leave you feeling a little blue. And not just because this area is full of filthy ferals. Sneak or shoot your way through this fenced-off area until you reach the entrance to Bunker L9 here, and then head inside and immediately pop a squat so that you don't disturb the monsters that live here. Slowly stealth your way through the interior until you reach the back of the bunker, and at some point you will enter a toilet with a feral attached to the wall. Bash that blue thing's face in with the melee weapon of your choice, and then take a peek inside the nearby toilet cubicle to find another type of blue man, a deceased genetically engineered soldier. That's right, this is an Easter egg for Rogue Trooper, a science fiction comic strip created in 1981 for the British comic 2000 AD. This Rogue Trooper isn't just here because he's a British creation though. The developers of Atomfall Rebellion are also the owners of 2000 AD, so they not only own the Rogue Trooper license, but they also made a pretty awesome Rogue Trooper game in the past, and even have a Rogue Trooper movie in production at this very moment. If you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. And I mean a really big surprise, because if you get to the edge of the river by these coordinates, you will find none other than the legendary sword Excalibur embedded in a stone. The sword itself is stuck in there pretty good, but with a big old yank it is possible to pull it free. As long as you've dealt with this pesky plant first, because any damage you take cancels the animation. Once you've torn the sword free though, you will not only technically be the new King of England, but also you'll have an awesome new melee weapon to deck the local druids with. And check it out, pulling the sword out of the stone is no mean feat, even if it is just a case of holding down a button for a bit. I mean, just look how shocked this lady was when she saw me wielding it.
Here we go!
I mean, she straight up fainted at my feet. Saves me from having to lop her head off, I guess, but still, clumsy. Okay, so we've got a sword, but what about an axe to complement it? Well, if you pop along to this set of coordinates just north of the greenhouse in Atomfall Woods, you'll come to this little ledge. Drop down onto the platform below the ledge and head towards the edge of it, and you will spot a row of chairs facing a pedestal. And embedded into the top of that pedestal, you will find a lovely axe. But what is this a reference to, you may be wondering? Well, there might only be 6 chairs here, but the presence of the axe means that this is undoubtedly a recreation of the famous Council of Elrond scene from The Lord of the Rings, where Gimli, son of Gloin, utters these immortal words.
Nobody tosses a dwarf!
No, not those ones, goddammit! These ones!
And my axe.
The following 2 Easter eggs are both located in and around Casterfell Wood's fancy manor, Datlow Hall, and if you follow the main path into the grounds of Datlow Hall, you will find the first one of them underneath this here statue. But be warned, it is a bit odd. Now, one of the first things you'll notice about this statue is that it is missing its head. But where could its head be? Well, if you inspect the ground at the base of the statue, not only will you find said head, but lying next to it, you'll also discover this rather random bowler hat. Or at least it would be random if this wasn't a particularly clever Easter egg, which references the scene from the 1964 James Bond movie Goldfinger, in which Oddjob beheads a statue with the razor-sharp brim of his expertly tossed bowler hat.
Remarkable.
At the end of my last Atomfall Easter Eggs video, I pondered the possibility of there being an Only Fools and Horses tribute in the game, and lo and behold, you can find exactly that if you enter the main room of Datlow Hall, where you can meet the excellently eccentric character Prudence. Look towards the fireplace in that hall and you will see the remains of a chandelier lying upon an old blanket, which is a sight that seems to have been inspired by this comically catastrophic chandelier removal scene from Only Fools and Horses.
Now brace yourself, Rodney. Brace yourself.
Oh, Prudence, you plonker. Look at the mess you've made.
Hello, stranger. Not seen you around this stretch before.
I left this next Easter egg off my last list because I thought it would be a bit too blatant, but considering how many of you called me out for missing it, I figured I'd better include Nat Buckshaw's The War of the Worlds book here. The War of the Worlds was written by the famous British sci-fi author H.G. Wells between 1895 and 1897, and you can find it lying just behind Nat in his old crumbling shack, which is located down the hill to the left-hand side of the starting bunker in Slattondale.
How do? Where did you come from then? Keep your nose clean.
Now, I figured I'd scoured every corner of Wyndham Village for Easter eggs in my last video, but I missed off a couple of corkers in the local pub, the Grendel's Head. Rather than being an Easter egg about a piece of popular culture like the rest of the references on this list though, this next one seems to be a cheeky little tribute from one of the members of the art team to their favourite football club. Because, if you look closely at the logo on the tap for the Whitton Scale Dry Apple Cider here, you will notice that not only does it feature a lion that's pulling a pose that is remarkably similar to the one that can be found on the logo for the football team Aston Villa, but it also lists the date on there as 1874, which is the exact same year that Aston Villa Football Club was established. Up the Villa! Not really, I hate football, it's bloody crap. That's why I play video games. Head up the stairs to the second floor of the Grendel's Head pub and you will enter this pool room, which is home to an Easter egg that I can't believe I missed. On the opposite side of the room from the pool tables, mounted on the wall, is this darts trophy plaque that lists the name of 5 famous pubs from popular English IPs. The Green Man Inn is, of course, the freaky pub that features in The Wicker Man, a movie that has already had a big Easter egg in Atomfall. The Nag's Head is the pub that Derek and Rodney drink in Only Fools and Horses. The Queen Victoria is obviously the famous pub from the BBC's flagship soap opera EastEnders. The Woolpack is the public house from the Yorkshire set soap Emmerdale, and that just leaves Coronation Street's The Rovers Return Inn above that one. But how does EastEnders Ian Beale feel about his pub losing its trophy to the teams from Emmerdale and Corrie? Oh dear, he's not taking it very well, is he? There, Ian. There.
Oh, you bastard.
Get to the chopper, found at these coordinates in the Skethermore region, and you won't find an Arnie Easter egg, but you will find a note inside it that contains a subtle reference to Dan Dare, the British science fiction comic book hero who made his debut on the pages of the Eagle comic book way back in 1950. This note to Dan is written by someone called Digby, who Dare fans will instantly recognise as Dan's bumbling sidekick from the comic strips. While this inclusion of the names Dan and Digby confirm this as a Dan Dare Easter egg, I haven't been able to work out the significance of the name Merlin, which Digby regularly refers to. I thought at first that it may have been the name of Dan Dare's ship, but that was actually called the Anastasia, so if anyone can crack this cosmic conundrum, let me know in the comments below. The final Easter egg I have for you today is not only the one that most people told me that I had missed from my first Easter egg video, but it's also a reference to another famous comic book character who, like Rogue Trooper before him, is also a big part of the 2000 AD license that is now owned by Rebellion. Located in the northwestern corner of the Skethermore map, you will find Access Hatch L3, which serves as the entrance to the Protocol Workshop. Inside this workshop, you will find a bunch of pesky Protocol soldiers, so quickly dispatch the spuggers with a cricket bat and make your way through the complex until you reach this room with a Bard robot hanging from the ceiling. Make your way to the back of the room, and on the bottom shelf of this armour stand, you will find Judge Dredd's iconic helmet, standing out amongst the rest of the beige items on display. Honestly, this is such a blatant Easter egg that I can't believe I missed it the first time around. What an absolute drocker I am. And that's another bunch of brilliantly British Atomfall Easter eggs done. But I can almost guarantee that there is plenty more in there that I have missed. So if you decide to play Atomfall for yourselves, keep your eyes peeled for any English eggies that you can see, and let me know in the comments below if you discover any new ones. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do give it a like, subscribe to Eurogamer for almost daily videos about video games, and if you love video game Easter egg hunts, why not check out this other video that is on screen and clickable right now. Goodbye.